Hello there, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc, Lofton, and Aron Eisenberg. This is a special edition because we've got big news.
Big, huge. Gene Simmons, huge.
We've got the return of Captain Picard and the.
It looked like you were caressing his cheek at that moment. It was interesting.
It did.
The new teaser trailer. Speaking of teasing.
Yes.
Imagine if you had a head that large on your shoulder.
I do want to imagine that.
Yeah.
Was that a Paso? Was filmed in Paso Robles? You said.
I don't know, but I'm sure it's somewhere in Southern California wine country.
Yeah.
Or it could have easily been shot in Malibu. There's plenty of wine areas. I can't even wineries out there as well.
Yeah.
Oh
no! It seemed like a wine commercial when I saw it.
I thought it was a commercial for Viagra, or as Melissa pointed out, blood pressure medicine.
Well, I don't know. The Viagra commercial when he's got
arthritis. Sorry,
and the fountain's really pouring hard on his hand. You might be right. It's just a heavy flow.
Somebody somewhere is going to take that and redo it with an audio track. If you experience heart palpitations, constant sweating, extreme flatulence, maybe this drug will not be for you. You know, it totally felt like that at the beginning. Although I have to admit, I thought it was quite beautiful, but so are those drug commercials. They're quite beautiful. And I don't know if you know this, but there was either legislation passed or was going to force those companies to share the cost of their drug. So I think the commercial should share the cost to the watchers, how much it will really, within the trailer, it'll cost you, $10.99 a month.
I'm trying to follow him, but I couldn't get there. I really couldn't.
I got there though. I finished it.
You brought it around. It was very hard.
Yeah.
But I got to see the unedited version. I don't know if you guys got to see the full clip. But
really?
There's an extra 30 seconds on the version I saw, and they have close-up of his feet stepping on grapes. I thought it looked a little too messy. So
was he redoing Lucy? Yeah.
They used the Lucy clip.
Yeah,
but they brought color to it, and it was really digitally remastered. It was awesome.
That's beautiful. I mean, I could just picture that now. Close up on Lucy, looking over to her left, and then a close up on
Picard,
Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
I saw the original director's cut. I didn't tell you about this, and it's
you can't use my joke. That's
2.5 minutes. It's almost 2.5 minutes of just the fountain flowing really hard all over his head.
Yes. Yeah. I thought there was extra footage of Russell Crowe showing how to move his hand through the barley, through the field, and grabbing things. I thought I heard that there was footage of that, basically.
I thought I'd see a little bit more is what I was looking for. I guess maybe I felt like maybe I was looking to see him in a house or a dwelling of some sort, kind of like in his tunnel space, as opposed to just the farming stuff. And then they threw the little tech into it with the thing that was irrigating from above. Was that a little futuristic?
Yeah, check this out. The crop duster?
Crop duster or something, yeah.
I thought the shadow was a little small. I'm just saying, I don't think that was really Patrick Stewart walking through, the winery.
No, but it was his feet on the version that I saw.
Yes, I think you're right. And
they probably
needed to cut his toenails.
They probably just shot his face.
That's why they cut it
here in L.A. And they shot all that extra stuff out on wine country with a B team.
Yeah, the B team. I wonder who did the shadow. I did the shadow. That was me.
That's the picture right there behind you of the crop duster, right?
Yeah, that's a crop duster in a building, futuristic building, and lots of smog.
I have to admit, when they showed the crates coming down, and then instead of seeing the person come into frame, they had the camera come down onto the crates. I was expecting to see Newman spaghetti sauce. That's what I was hoping would be in the crates.
But does that wine really exist, though?
Picard spaghetti sauce.
No, that wine doesn't exist.
It will, though. You watch.
It will. I think that'll be the big thing.
There'll be a booth at Star Trek Las Vegas, Picard wine,
Yeah.
And the people that at that booth will be in buckets with grapes, demonstrating how they make the Picard wine.
So let me ask. Oh, by the way, let me give you a little bit of a background on this for those of you that may not know. Actually, first, we'll say that somebody did make a funny joke.
Are we joking around too much, Ryan?
No, this is very funny.
Okay.
Somebody did make a joke. They said, there are 2 lights. Because in this scene, as you can see, there are 2 lights here. And he's, famous for saying 4 lights. So I did think that was funny. I would love to give credit, but I don't know who said it. But it's funny.
2 lights.
But I will say I did like when he made his appearance at the beginning and came forward. That I thought that was kind of cool. And I like what feels like the weight on his shoulders.
What is the name of the wine? What is it called?
Chateau Picard, I believe.
Chateau Picard.
Yeah, so the background here on this, for those of you that haven't seen the final episode of Next Generation, which is called All Good Things, which is one of the best episodes in the history of all of Star Trek, in my opinion. Definitely top 5.
We'll do that next season.
Yeah, Picard goes into the future and into the past, and he's living in 3 different time realities. And it's really well done, really cool. But, like the opening scene where we see him in the future, we see him as old man Picard. He's tying up vines on that vineyard. And so, of course, he's got a beard. It's kind of a different looking old Picard. But that was the whole thing, was that he's sitting there, he's tying up vines, and he's got something called aromatic syndrome, which makes him kind of lose his mind. And then he gets visited by this fellow.
A cup?
Yeah, this guy gets visited by this guy.
I thought he got visited by a cup.
By a mug.
Yeah, by a mug. Who happened to be Odo.
Yeah, so those of us that love,
which time field was it, though?
It's a great homage to that because it's showing him right back on those vineyards that we thought he was going to be on. I think it was supposed to be 30 years in the future at that point, where it's been now 25 years. So it's almost exact time. The other little homage that a lot of people noticed was at the very end, there's a flute playing the Next Generation tune. And that flute is an homage to what some people say is the best episode ever, which is The Inner Light. And Picard learns how to play a flute. And then when he comes back from that thing, all he has left is that flute. And it's like it's kind of like Sisko's baseball, that one thing that really.
Kim's clarinet?
Kind of.
I don't even.
But yeah, so it had that flute. It has the lights. It's got Chateau Picard. It's got all of these homages.
Did they already say whether it's going to be on the Enterprise or not? Or?
Probably not. Because in the trailer, it said, why did you leave Starfleet? So we know that he left Starfleet because he lost faith or because something negative. It wasn't like a happy retiring. He either lost faith in them or in himself. And we know that when he left, he was an admiral at the time. And that it was 15 years prior to this was when he led this mass evacuation, which presumably are the Romulans before their Romulan star went supernova. So it's probably Admiral Picard leading this big evacuation armada to rescue a bunch of Romulans before their star goes supernova. And then he had some big upsetting thing that made him say, screw these guys, I'm out. And it probably has to do, if we're looking something political, something to tie it in, it's probably going to have to do with maybe like Romulan refugees or, something maybe Starfleet says we don't want them or, something like that.
Or maybe there were too many tariffs on his wine. Sorry. Okay.
No,
jokes aside, I love Patrick Stewart. I will say that. I have not watched TNG, I have to be honest, and I feel a little out of the loop because I have not watched TNG, which is why when I auditioned for DS9, I really had no clue what Ferengi were, because I didn't watch The Next Generation. I had watched the original series, but not The Next Generation. Now, in other, especially with X-Men, I love Patrick Stewart in all of his roles in that, and there's a reverence. There's a I had the good fortune of meeting him when I did ADR for initiations on Voyager, because at the time he was dating, I think, Wendy Noose, and he happened to be there when I walked in.
Wow.
And I was really like, whoa, I just felt like I felt like I was like, yes, sir. You know, like it was really a powerful meaning for me, you know, meaning such an iconic individual of Star Trek at that time was pretty wonderful. And he was so generous. He had a big smile. He stood up from his chair, put his hand out and said, "Oh, wonderful, wonderful to meet you."
Wow.
I don't remember how he said it, but he complimented my work. He goes, "You've done a wonderful job." And
probably with a British accent.
Yeah, which I suck at. And if I was here and I tried to do it, Melissa would roll her eyes and walk downstairs.
Okay, let's see.
So
We got to
hear it.
attempt
it. Yeah, I'm not going to attempt it. I'm not going to attempt to try to sound like Patrick Stewart. But I never forgot that moment, and it really meant a lot to me. I'm assuming he saw some of what I thought he mentioned Nog, but he might have been referring to Carr. But either way, it was such a high compliment and a day I never forgot. So I'm looking forward to this series a lot. I like the trailer, all jokes aside. I love teaser trailers. And the goal of a teaser trailer is to get to pick your interest, to go, oh, that looks fun. Like Twilight Zone. That really got me interested. Unfortunately, the first 3 episodes did not hold my interest. But I'm even though I don't know all the things you're speaking of and all the things that connects to, and I think this is what's really important about the teaser trailer. Does it bring people that have not watched The Next Generation into the show? And because I haven't, 100% I'm looking forward to tuning in to this show. Plus, I'm a fan of Patrick Stewart, so I look forward to that.
Does it give you the sense of the curiosity as to, whoa, you know, why did he leave Starfleet? What did happen? What is this thing?
A little bit. And I hope Cirroc chimes in also about, because I don't think he watched The Next Generation, but maybe I'm wrong. It did.
There you go again.
Calling you
No. There was nothing negative about that.
I'm joking.
Okay, good. Nothing negative about that.
There was no. And I didn't really watch it, not regularly. I've seen a few episodes of it, but I hadn't watched it regularly.
Yeah. And Melissa's watching it now. I think she's trying to get ready for the Picard series. She's watching it without me, but we only have so much time to watch TV. But yeah, and what it like I said, there was a weight on his shoulders. So, and whether you've watched it or not, you know he's Jean-Luc Picard. You know he is Picard, right?
Yeah, well, I think he just naturally kind of exudes this kind of grace, and he seems like a distinguished person.
Intelligence.
When I'm around him. So he's always carried himself with this really, high level of integrity and respect. I think that, he's been a good ambassador for Star Trek as a whole. When you look at the lineage of the captains and how they've been, kind of handed the baton over the years, I think he is one of the captains that has stood out as being exceptional. And whether you like the show or not, or the lightness of it, because a lot of people say that it was a little light and comedic in some ways, I still think he had a forcefulness to his presence and aura that really made him a good leader. And I enjoyed watching him even in our opening episode for the Emissary pilot. Yes. And, so basically he kicked our show off in some ways. And so we owe him, that much gratitude and thanks for his participation in being a part of the transition for us. And I think the scenes with him and Avery really showed that Avery was on the level of kind of powerful presence, because when they were together, you could definitely feel the tension between them, but you could also feel Avery not giving or budging from Picard's character. So I felt like that was interesting, the way they introduced Sisko by making him so tough against Picard, or in contrast to him.
But what was also great about that scene, Cirroc, was Avery came up pretty strong and big, but Patrick Stewart didn't try to one up him.
Right.
You know, they both played the honesty. You know, they played the honesty, and they were two great, wonderful actors, but not competing at all, working together within the scene of what both, you know, and the honesty of the scene. And when Patrick had to go a little bit, you're going to do this after, you know, his shoulders kind of went down on what he had caused on Sisko, and he could say, well, that wasn't my fault, you know, but he didn't say that. He felt he expressed the weight.
But I'm just saying that the two powerful actors together in this scene, you can feel the weight of the scene. You can feel you can feel the tension, and you can feel the gravity in which each person is bringing to the table. And I felt like we'll get to it later with A Man Alone, but I felt a little bit of that with Avery and Odo's character in that episode when they were both kind of going heads up. And we'll talk about it later. But I definitely I wish that I got a little bit more. I guess this is what I want to say. One of the tenements, and one of the great things about Star Trek is that it's set into this future time frame. And I think one of the beautiful things of it is that it allows the viewer to really conceptualize a future time. And by taking us along that ride of setting the narrative into the future, it really opens up a lot, and it allows us to kind of imagine more. Now, with the opening credits of the Picard show, because it's based on Earth, and because I really didn't get a futuristic feel for the trailer, it left me wanting more in that way. And that's why I said I would have preferred to see him in a residence or a dwelling or something where I can see the feel of let's say, a domestic house in the farmland in the 500 years from now. What kind of little things would be the same and what kind of things would be different?
You know, oh, sorry. I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, I am done. I mean, that's what I wanted more.
Well, I guess I have not a rebuttal, but I feel slightly the opposite in the sense that I think you already know it's in the future. You know, this is a Picard series. You know, it's taking place, you know, X amount of years after DS9, if I'm correct, right, Ryan? Like 20 or something after?
It's 20 after years. DS9? It's 20 years after Nemesis, and Nemesis was after Deep Space Nine ended. Yeah.
So you know it's in the future, yet you see familiarity on Earth. You see what we are somewhat used to, which I thought was kind of interesting. Every time we go into the future, it always becomes whatever somebody's subjective viewpoint is of what the future might look like. It's going to be this, you know, like Discovery. And apparently in the future, there's a lot of lens flare. So I think whenever you see lens flare, you know it's in the future. But I think what I liked about it was that it showed more of a softer, warmer, earthy, more land. You know, you're on a winery in the future. That not everything's just been polished over with technology. And I kind of liked that. I agree with you though. You still want to see, okay, but where's the ship? Where is Starfleet? Where is
or what is setting up the sense of urgency that makes him say what he said?
Yes.
Right? So he says, you know, you've been wondering where I've been or something to that effect. Is that what he says?
No, he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I think he comes out and the voiceover or his voice is saying something to the effect, "What you want to know where I've been or why I decided to leave" or something like that.
The voiceover's asking, "Why did you leave Starfleet, Ambassador or Admiral?"
Right. That's what I guess I would have set up the urgency for that a little bit more, giving away a little more. I know they left a lot to be to the imagination. They still have to probably design sets and do whatever they're doing, or they don't want to reveal whatever they've designed and cast other cast members. Well, all I'm saying is, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead and finish.
I would have ended up a little differently. I would have maybe had him doing exactly what they did in the fields, doing his thing, and then maybe you see two guys beam up Federation guys beaming up in front of him, asking to him, we need you, Captain. And there'd be some kind of like, then I can kick into the dialogue. Oh, I'm not going back. This, and you want to know why I am not going back. It would have set it up a little bit better for me than just a bunch of shots of wine and and different water running and stuff. I would have liked to see a little more Federation activity, or maybe a phone call or something in some kind of high-tech little device. Something that says, hey, we need you, and he's explaining why, he either doesn't want to go or, why he disappeared to begin with.
I think it would have been interesting if you saw the Discovery land in the distance, and then it ended.
Or the Red Angel just pop up.
Exactly.
The time crystal.
No Red Angel.
Basically what happens is you see him put the crate down, and he leans up, and a lens flare blinds him, and he goes like that, and then as he clears his eyes, the Discovery appears, and then it goes whoosh.
Don't need that. Yeah, so just real quick to the point about adding something more futuristic, I think that's why they included the crop duster, was to show, this is future, this is where we are. It's still sci-fi stuff.
That gets really people going, futuristic crop dusters. That's really what people want.
I think you're right, though, Ryan. I think that was the purpose of it, to just set that context.
Add a little bit of production value. But believe me, if you look back at the casting that we've had, 2 characters were described as pilots. So he's going to be on a ship, probably on 2 different ships. There is going to be action. There's at least 1 character that was described as a really good fighter. I think 2 of them. There's like a teenage Romulan boy, like 17 or 18, who's a really good martial artist, and then another lady who's a good fighter.
We'll see.
So what this is not really a trailer. This is just a teaser. They're shooting everything in LA. And so while they're shooting everything in LA, they're like, this is the 25th anniversary of the day that Next Generation ended, the final episode of Next Generation.
Today was?
Today, yep.
Oh, wow.
May 23rd, 1994. So I don't think they made this to be like, look, this is a demonstration of this great show we're going to have. I think they were just like, hey, we should commemorate this 25-year anniversary with a little teaser, just a thing that makes it feel a little bit more real. And that's why it's not really giving much away about the plot or the characters. Right. It's just a little thing that they shot.
To tease.
Yeah. B-roll, totally separate from regular production. And then they just shot his face here in LA, I'm sure.
I feel a little teased.
We've still got a few more months, 2 or 3 more months probably, before we get a real trailer. Anything that's actually legitimate, I'm sure we've got.
Yeah, and that's probably my only criticism. I'm distinguishing it from a real trailer, where it's just something to just whet the palate, to get people like on a little hook, to let them know it's coming. And that's they did a good job of that. They left me wanting more, and that's why I'm saying I felt like I wanted more, and I guess that was the purpose. That was the intention.
So you were teased. You feel teased.
I was teased, and I wanted to see more, and I wanted to know where he's living and what he's doing, and that's exactly what they didn't show me. So, right. And that's therefore the mission accomplished on their end.
Let me ask you guys both a question. What do you hope the next trailer or the actual show goes into? Like, do you think it's going to be something about Starfleet against Picard coming back because there's a new foe, that there's a bigger conflict that's now forming and they need his help? Or do you think he's will be on the run or from Starfleet for a particular reason? Now, I'm completely in the dark in what maybe it could be because I didn't watch the original, the Next Generation. So do you think, Ryan, because you did, or maybe what you want, Cirroc, or what you would love to see, Ryan, for this show? Do you have an idea of like, oh my God, this would be so fun if they went in this direction?
Well, it seems like there was a few different questions there that I couldn't answer with just one thing. I mean, number one, I don't think that we'll need to have seen Next Generation to connect this, because this is a completely different life. He's no longer on a ship. He's no longer even in Starfleet. He's it's a completely different life. It's a completely different Starfleet. It's a totally different story, which is what attracted Patrick Stewart to actually coming back and reprising the role, because he didn't want to. But when they said, look, you're not reprising the role of Captain Picard on the Enterprise. What this is a man that has retired and left that life behind. And now it's like a moral dilemma. You know, it's an ethical thing. It's, you know, so I don't think we'll need to worry too much about that.
Well,
go ahead.
I think what I meant was, do you think there was something that was a catalyst for this show? You don't need to know it. You know what I mean? You don't need to have seen it. But it's something that it is connected to the next generation. But if you didn't watch it, it's still, you know what I'm saying?
I think the only catalyst is in the 2009 movie when they mentioned that the Romulan star went supernova and got destroyed or whatever it was. I think that's the only catalyst we really need to know. I'm sure there will be some cameos from previous characters, and so there will be some homages and some Easter eggs and some fun little things. But so you'll need to have seen the episodes to understand those. But the plot itself and the story itself, I don't think will be connected to Next Generation in any way. Just certain interactions between the characters. Now, what I hope to see is something that's story driven. I want to see good stories, because 10, 20 years from now, what are we going to remember? We're going to remember the same stuff we remember from the shows 10, 20, 30 years ago, which is good stories. We remember The Inner Light. We remember Take Me Out to the Holosuite. We remember Paper Moon. We remember The Visitor, because it was a beautiful story. Now, this is not going to be individual episodes and episodic. It's going to be, as they called it, like a 10-hour movie. So it's going to be in that.
And that's it?
Probably 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
So one 10-episode season like Game of Thrones, and then another one, and then a third one, and then who knows after that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that in that they just focus on story, like really getting that good story, because we know the actors are going to be great. We know Picard's going to be great. We know the world is already created. So I think if they just focus on story and focus on, characters, which, we love, then I think we'll all be happy, and we're going to have a memorable story that will stick with us for 20 or 30 years.
What about you, Cirroc?
Let me take a sip.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know.
Have an idea? Well, what would you want to see? What would you like to see?
That's the thing. I'm not really.
You don't have an opinion.
I'm not really pressed to see one particular thing over another. What I am kind of curious about is the fact that they called it Picard, and I don't think any other Star Trek franchises had been named after a person. It's usually after a group, either a ship or a space or a place. But usually look at it in a plurality of the show being a plural thing. Voyager. I mean, I think of it as a group. This one seems like it's more of an individual, because I hear obviously it's a Picard. So I expect to see more of the story about him and a man and his journey, as opposed to a ship and the collective journey.
You're exactly right, Cirroc. I think that's why it's called Picard, is because this will be his story. This will be his final story it's not about the crew of the Enterprise. It's not about it's not about the Dominion War. It's about a man's final journey. He's going to have action. And
the next show after this one will be Tasha Yar.
I actually hope this show does very well, because we're in the next up to bat if it does do well, the way I look at it.
Right.
If these kinds of different shows do well and are successful, it's only a matter of time before they have some kind of iteration of DS9. So
Deep Space Nine movie, we need it.
Or use some of the characters from the show.
Or use some of the characters, or overlap some of the characters. So, the opportunity increases as these productions gain traction and people like them more. So I'm not rooting against it. I'm in total favor of the success of the show.
It's 100% possible that you guys will get a phone call. I swear. Like, it's not terribly likely, but anybody from Deep Space Nine, anybody from Next Generation,
probably won't happen.
It's in play. I mean, it's
100% possible, but 99% won't.
Maybe 95%.
All right, that's good now.
Well, so
you're all in play.
Yeah, we are in play.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so that's why. How could you root against it? And
that's not what I meant. I wasn't saying rooting against it.
No, I didn't say rooting. I'm saying being for it. Actually.
Yeah, I'm 100% for it too. I want all of them to succeed because you want things to succeed. I felt bad for Enterprise.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really feel almost envious of for the new Discovery is that they are able to do this show with the new ease of filming and the higher quality of picture.
Yeah, I watch our show wondering what that would look like.
Yeah,
I think it looks beautiful.
I think that it's one of the things that I'm envious about for the new cast, that they have an opportunity to really be on the cutting edge of picture quality for Star Trek and make it look so realistic and so it feels real.
Right.
Even though our set was really awesome and was actually kind of real, it didn't have obviously the HD picture and the 4K Ultra.
But it's also different in how it's shot, too.
Right.
We were in the 90s and it was shot for that time.
That era, yeah. So that's one of the things. I mean, basketball players used to wear short shorts and tight,
I still do when I play basketball.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. But,
those old short shorts, man.
So, it's just a matter of the era. And I think that one of the great things about Picard having a chance to be in the current era of production is that he gets to extend his lineage and his timeline into this new format of really high quality production and post-production. And I think that's going to be something that's going to allow our Star Trek as a franchise, as an overall thing, to increase its brand and its viewership. I think he brings a lot to the table, and I've never felt that he wasn't anything but a good representative of a captain on a Star Trek show. One of the best.
I felt watching him in a way because you made a good point about how it's bringing the new production value that they're bringing into Discovery into this show. And in a sense, when I first saw him, my first feeling was more X-Men, was more Dr. Xavier. And obviously my brain is like, well, no, it's Picard. But because it was shot that way, I'm used to seeing modern shows in that way. Does that make sense? So it'll be really great, like you said, to see that connection, that production value in a TNG setting.
That's a good point.
It'll be really great to watch that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of hoping that he's a bit rogue, that they're
he will be.
That
100%.
They're coming after him. Oh, see, so I'm already getting what I want. And yes. I do hope they focus a lot on the Last Outpost, The Last Outpost, and the aliens they encountered in that episode, and bring them up to the modern time. I'm surprised, Ryan, you haven't registered
those Ferengis.
Yeah. With whips. With
the snarling and the gun whips and stuff.
Basically the inspiration for my character.
That's true.
For Nog, but
that's true. I think you're gonna get your wish, Aaron, because
I was joking. I don't want to go back.
No, but based on the character descriptions and the direction it seems to be going is
rogue. Yeah.
We're going to have Picard is going to be old and disgruntled and kind of embittered about the whole Starfleet thing and just wants to be like, no, I want to be left alone or whatever, Brent Spiner does a great impression of Picard, by the way. His impression is just like, anyway.
That was it. I thought I was watching Picard right there.
It was Spiner.
I felt like I was watching Brent Spiner do Picard.
It was my impression of Spiner doing Picard.
Actually, I thought it was Michael Dorn doing Brent Spiner doing Picard. Well, that sounds really bad. An impression of Brent Spiner doing an impression.
We can edit that out later. We can edit that out.
No editing.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, so I can't wait, and we'll have a fun time talking about it and experiencing it as when everybody else is. So,
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think that it's going to start with him, being that disgruntled guy and giving up on Starfleet, but there's going to be some kind of call to action. Like
maybe there's a coup.
He needs to go save someone or find something
Jake and Nog.
totally away from. I think Starfleet is going to be kind of like almost maybe the bad guy in this.
Yes.
And he's going to go on a secret mission, not on a Starfleet vessel, but with like Romulans or Bolians or something like that. Kelpians, who knows?
Yeah.
Did you say Ebolians?
He's going to go on pirate ships. Yeah.
Ebolians. No,
he's going to go on a special mission that's like covert and hiding from Starfleet.
They're going to be on a mission to get a time crystal, I bet.
Well, that would have been nice to see him digging through the dirt with the grapes and then kind of uncover a time crystal.
Yeah. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, Cirroc, Lofton, and Aron Eisenberg. But I think that's about it. I think we've covered it up, right? We've done our homework here.
It was a 30-second trailer, so I think we only did an hour on a 30-second.
Our show was longer than the trailer.
It has to be.
Right. We didn't make you mad joking around, did we?
Not at all, but there's going to be a lot of nerds out there going like, they didn't even really talk about the trailer.
Yes, we did.
The teaser.
Oh, here's a question I have before we finish up. Fans of TNG are used to the idea of individual stories. There was zero serialization in TNG, correct?
Right, yeah.
So this does not look like it's going to be an individual stories for 10 episodes per season.
Correct. Not at all.
So I'm curious how the fans of the next generation are going to take that. Are they going to, set up a petition to redo the whole first season of Picard like the Game of Thrones fans? Or are they going to embrace that change from how TNG set up their seasons and their show?
I think if there's going to be a complaint, I mean, that might be one, is that people are going to say, I want to go back to the episodic way things used to be. And a lot of people do want that. I think the biggest complaint, though, will be that it's darker and grittier than TNG. And they want to go back to that 90s feel of Voyager, of Next Generation, of Deep Space Nine, where
feel good.
It got dark, but it was still light. It was still, positive in nature. And I think this one's going to have a positive message, but in a dark world.
Yeah.
If I had to guess what would be the biggest complaint, I think it would be that.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out, right?
We will find out.
It's funny how DS9 really launched a way to produce Star Trek, so far, right? And then we also have Section 31 coming, and that's going to have a dark edge to it, right? So we've got Discovery that has an edge, Picard that has an edge, and Section 31 that has an edge, and all kind of born from what we did on DS9, and yet DS9 is still the one between the two other magazines. I find that quite fascinating to me. And just the other day, there was a poll, a Star Trek poll of what was the best theme music, right? And they put the original series, TNG, Voyager, and Enterprise. Those were your only options to vote.
Really?
Bypass DS9.
But,
and I jokingly...
But that was the best one.
I jokingly said, I think you're missing one. Now, in their defense, Twitter can only put four options, right? So, but I'm still like, again, there it happens. Right after the documentary, we're marginalized again. We're put on the outside. And yet our show seems to be inspiring or being the root of all the new ones coming out. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's just funny to me. I'm totally not kidding. And then people were like, DS9, DS9, DS9 on all the comments,
Wow, that's crazy. Because Deep Space Nine, in my opinion, had the best writing of any past or present Star Trek series, had the best ensemble cast, second and tertiary characters, and as far as actors are concerned. And it had the best theme song, personally. I think it's pretty much hands down the best theme song to me. What do you
wasn't
think?
put on that poll. I'm not kidding.
That's
I'm
nuts.
not kidding. I know.
I don't even
right
know
after the documentary,
song, which is crazy. But
I missed that, Cirroc. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I can think of the original series theme song, and I can think of the Next Generation theme song, and obviously ours. But I can't think of any other themes. I don't really know by heart the other theme songs. So
Voyager was pretty. It was like elevator music.
Enterprise was hard. I didn't like Enterprise.
That's Next Generation.
Right?
Yeah.
That's Next Generation.
Yeah. Original series is.
Right.
That was pretty good, Ryan. Well done, sir. Well done. Better than the
our
Picard
show.
impression.
Aaron, can you do ours? You know our show?
Yeah.
Aaron, you don't even know our shows.
So I realized earlier you made fun of me that I always put people on the spot.
Yeah, it's my turn.
And what you've done is actually
I'm using
done that.
material.
And now I'm not upset about it because I'll just say, no, I can't do it. It's not going to happen. I wouldn't be able to even I wouldn't even be able to do a few bars.
Theme song.
Huh?
It goes
Womp, 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 womp.
No, I don't think that sounds so sad.
Right?
That should be a contest. Instead of costume contests at conventions, people need to come up and sing the theme song of their favorite Star Trek show. I just put it out there. Make it happen, somebody somewhere.
Don't worry, they're doing it. They're all over it. These people, whoever they are.
I'm glad that you put me on the spot because what you did by that is make it okay now for me to always put you on the spot.
Well, you've already done it, so now it's my turn. It's a little get back.
No, but I'm fine with it. It's like, let's play.
As frequently as I can, I'm going to ask you if you're aware, if you know. Like, Aaron, what's the name of that wine on that bottle there? Do you know anything about the Bourgeois?
Chateau. No, not Chateau. What was it? Chateau de Picado.
Chateau
de Picado. Picardo. And there's Robert. There's Robert
Picardo.
They should have Robert's picture on that bottle.
Hey, guys, I'm going to have to...
Instead of after the D, there's an O.
Oh, I'll wait till we're done with this segment, but my battery's about to die.
Oh, shoot.
All right. Let's end this segment because Cirroc's battery's going to die. And Aaron's running out of good jokes.
Hey, can you do the theme of Voyager, Cirroc?
Yeah. On the next segment.
All right. We'll be back. Ryan, thanks. That was fun.
So anyway, for your stars, Aron Eisenberg, who played Nog on Deep Space Nine, for Cirroc Lofton, who played Jake Sisko on Deep Space Nine. Aaron also played Picard on Voyager, by the way. You mentioned that earlier. And also for Mr. Michael Chiklis, of course.
Yes.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Thank you so much for joining us.
And Gene Simmons. Don't forget Gene Simmons.
Always remember the seventh rule.
Won't forget. All right.
I'm not going to stop recording. I'm just kidding.